Good evening, friends. Thanks for joining us here at 6. You just saw the CBS special report on the press conference between President Donald Trump and the Russian President Vladimir Putin. We'll start 9 News at 6 now, though. Back here at home, we're going to start with what you may be seeing, a drop in your car insurance rates. 20 different companies have filed rate decreases since the start of this year. Liam Combs is here with when and if this applies to you. Liam.
Well, as Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple says, these rate decreases are because of a drop in the number of crashes on the road in 2024. So does this mean this is a short-term gain or a long-term solution to our insurance crisis? Well, to that, Tim Temple says we're just going to have to wait and see. These 14 auto insurance companies that you're seeing now filed rate decreases of more than 1% since the start of this year. Some of those major companies include Geico, State Farm, Progressive, and Allstate.
We have seen, it looks like a decrease in the overall number of accidents, which means lower losses and lower premiums.
Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple says when you go to renew your policy, those discounts could look differently depending on where you live.
You know, if you live in a city like New Orleans, for example, your rate's going to be different than one that might be in Shreveport or Alexandria. But these are overall averages for the state. So some people will see a decrease. In line with that number that you saw. Some may see greater. Some may see an increase.
If you want to know what your bottom line will look like, talk to your insurance rep. Temple says they would tell you the insurance game is all about risk. How much a company pays out in claims or its losses directly impacts how much your bill goes up or down by the time you renew.
It's too soon to tell whether this specific decrease is a long-term trend or whether it's a short-term bubble because of, some effect that we've had between changes in inflation, some of the legal changes, those kinds of things.
Benjamin Albright represents smaller insurance brokers. He says those discounts today are for personal auto insurance. The story looks a little different when you are looking at commercial auto. That is used for truck drivers, for example.
I don't see any reason that the rates would come down. Insurance companies are still losing money there, so they're going to continue to increase prices on commercial auto. They made money this year in 2024 on personal auto, and so that's why they're taking a rate decrease.
One thing's for sure, insurance reform takes time. Commissioner Temple says these discounts are not a sign that the reform passed this year is working just yet.
Florida is starting to see some positive, both on their property, but specifically on their auto. And it was 2 years before they started to see that. And one of the things I'm engaging in conversations with insurance companies is, can you lend a little bit of credit from what you saw in those states to Louisiana?
Now, whether or not Louisiana can get some of that credit Temple is talking about is unclear. But with similar reform passed in our neighboring Gulf states, Temple is confident the proof will be in the pudding, all in due time. Liz?
Liam, thank you.